Hey, what's up everybody? This is Mike. Welcome back to another video. I hope you're doing well. And this is the DJI Mavic Mini, the drone that everyone keeps talking about. And now finally I have it in my hands as well. I've been using it for a full day and I want to share my first impressions of this little guy. So without any further ado, let's go. So, DJI Mavic Mini, the ultra portable, super lightweight 249 gram drone by DJI is finally here. I have been waiting for this drone to arrive for far too long. I had a lot of problems with the shipping, with the order, so I just want to forget about that. Unfortunately, the weather has been terrible for the past couple of days and it's also going to be terrible for the next couple of days. So it's really not ideal to test out a brand new drone in these conditions. But I don't really have a choice and I managed to find a little gap between two rain sessions so I can go ahead and fly a couple of times. But these are just my initial impressions of the drone. In the future, I'm sure they will change a lot as DJI is adding a lot of new features via software updates, and also because I will be definitely flying this drone in many different conditions. But for now, I have a couple of things that I want to say after flying with this little guy for a while. And let's start with the camera quality. So in terms of camera quality, the Mavic Mini is right up there with the Spark. And of course that makes a lot of sense as the Mavic Mini has been created in order to replace the Spark. But I don't really see a huge improvement in the camera quality. It's just an upscaled version of the Spark. Of course, it shoots in 2.7K, but after examining the footage on my computer, and let me just remind you that I have been flying in terrible weather conditions, for now, I don't really see a huge improvement over the Spark. Yes, it has a 3-axis gimbal compared to the 2-axis gimbal of the Spark, and it also shoots in 2.7K instead of the 1080p of the Spark. But in terms of quality of the footage, it's still very similar to the Spark. It's still a bit too sharp, it's still a bit too saturated in some areas. And generally, it reminds me a lot of the Spark, which is not a bad thing because the Spark was just good enough for many situations. I wouldn't really call it a bad camera drone, so I wouldn't call this a bad one either. It's just nothing that spectacular in terms of upgrades. I was really hoping that the quality would be a bit better, but of course I'm going to save that for another time when I have the chance to test it in sunny conditions. That would make a huge difference, I suppose. But one thing I noticed about the Mavic Mini that is very close to the Spark is the signal strength and the range. Unfortunately, these two things are still very close to what the Spark was, and I don't see any improvement in that area. The Wi-Fi, the enhanced Wi-Fi transmission technology is still not good enough to be used in Europe, and even after 200 to 300 meters you start losing signal. I had 2 occasions of the drone activating return to home mode because it had lost the signal completely. My screen was all black, I couldn't see anything, and I had so many situations where I completely lost signal. I had many warnings pop up on my screen, not only because of the strong wind, but also RC signal lost errors and many other errors that just tell you that you don't have a strong signal. And I don't get it. I don't get it. The Spark was released in 2017, and 2 years later, we get a new drone which has the same range, in Europe at least. I know the guys in the US are okay with the range and they are able to go up to 1 kilometer or even more than that, but here I was not able to go more than 200 to 300 meters away from myself. And again, I will save that and test it more for future videos. I will not fly that much in urban areas. I will try to go outside of the city and see how the signal is going to improve. Hopefully it will improve, but yeah, it's nothing close to what I was hoping it to be. I heard many good things about the Wi-Fi transmission system on the Mavic Mini, but I suppose in CE networks in Europe, that is just not the case. When flying the Mavic Mini, I noticed that the noise it makes is definitely not that much compared to the Spark or even the Mavic Air. So it's definitely very quiet. It's very close to the Mavic 2 Pro, and I'm quite happy about that because I'm just not a fan of noisy drones. The Spark and the Mavic Air were just bad in that area. So Mavic Mini gets a very good grade in terms of noise. Another thing which I quite enjoyed about this drone is the battery life. And for now, I only have one battery. I didn't get the Fly More combo because I don't really think I will fly that much with this drone. I think one battery of 30 minutes would be sufficient for what I have in mind for this drone. But for now, I am very happy with the battery life. It's very close to those advertised 30 minutes. I think I got about 25 minutes in my first ever flight with the Mavic Mini, which is just great. Coming from such a tiny drone, that's just crazy. So I'll make a full video about the battery life of the Mavic Mini, as I think that's one of the best things about this drone. But for now, I'm quite happy with the battery life. One question that I keep getting about the Mavic Mini is how powerful it is, how capable it is to cope with strong winds. After flying the Spark, the Mavic Air and the Mavic 2 Pro, I kind of have an idea how powerful these drones are and how much I can push them in strong winds. So I tested this one in strong winds and it was just pushed around left and right, and it's definitely not as capable as other drones. Of course, that's to be expected because of the ultra light weight of this drone. It's just 249 grams, which is next to nothing. But I was just hoping that it will be a bit stronger in these wind conditions. But yeah, after testing it, I wouldn't really recommend you to give it a try in strong winds because you might just lose it one day. It's going to fly away and you won't be able to recover it. So my overall first impressions of this drone is that it's just a little bit of an upgrade compared to the Spark. It has a couple of negative aspects that I don't like, such as the range, the Wi-Fi signal. It's definitely not strong enough and something that I was unpleasantly surprised by. The battery life is great. The wind resistance is next to nothing. The noise it makes is very good compared to other drones, and generally the video quality is just a bit better than the Spark. So only time will tell what my impressions will be in a couple of months, and I'll of course make a full review of this drone after using it for a while. But for now, yeah, it's a great beginner drone. It's a perfect way for new pilots to come into the hobby. I have a couple of things that I don't like about it, but of course, like I said, these are only my first impressions of the drone. I will keep testing it in different situations, different conditions, and I have a lot of ideas planned for this little guy. So stay tuned and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more Mavic Mini content. But for now, this is Mike from Drone Supremacy. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.